It is week 12. It is the end of phase 3. Kind of went into this week not knowing what to do, and not knowing what to say, and knowing that I was just about to maybe suffer an injury. And so far I haven't. I was anticipating that things would have gone worse by now, I suppose. But when I was thinking about what to talk about, I realized I didn't have any ideas and there wasn't anything that I was planning on talking about, which is fine. After thinking a second about my feelings recently and checking in at week 10, getting sick, and then talking about consistency last week, this week I decided that I want to talk about some fears I've been having. So I thought about them and I wrote them down. The first fear I hope you know is I'm afraid of getting injured. I'm afraid that I'll push myself too hard and I won't listen to whatever bodily messages I'm receiving, and that'll result in me not being able to do this anymore, at least for a couple weeks. I don't think I should be afraid of injury long term. I think I am afraid of injury because I don't know who I am without this. So if I'm not running, I know I have other hobbies, but for mental health reasons, it's really helped me out over the last years. The thought of not being able to do it anymore freaks me out because I don't really trust myself without it. I love relaxing, I love rest days. Well, I don't love them, but actually I kind of hate them. But when I can convince myself it's time to relax, it's a wonderful thing because I know consistency looks different day to day, for example. But if I come across a time in which I'm just relaxing and just trying to heal, I feel like I'm gonna drive myself crazy. My second fear is I'm afraid of going too slowly. I'm afraid that it's not gonna be very fun. I'm afraid that I'm going to try to pace myself too much to the point that it's going to get drawn out. I'm gonna have too much time to think about why it is I'm doing this in the first place. After having talked about everything I just mentioned, it'd be kind of hard to believe that I wouldn't like this, but sometimes I'm afraid of going too slowly because I want it to be exciting all the time. And I know the 80-20 rule of 80% of your runs should be easy and 20% of them should be pretty difficult. But when I go slowly, especially during my long runs, I get this feeling that I'm never gonna be fast again. And then I get a week like this week where it's a designated speed week because my mileage is lower and I'm reminded at certain workouts that I can still perform well. I am, for example, kind of getting some chills right now. I'm about to do a 6-mile workout in a pyramid. The first half is all gonna be uphill and the second half is gonna be downhill. And I'm thinking I really wanna go slow on the uphill to save some energy, but then I'm thinking, what if I don't speed up on the downhill? What if it's just still slow? What if I'm totally zapped? I'm gonna have to forgive myself for not performing very well. It leads directly into a counterintuitive third fear of mine, is that I'm afraid I'm gonna go too fast. And I'm afraid that I'm going to, one, injure myself from doing that, but then also I'm afraid of going too fast because a part of me thinks I'll achieve some crazy PR and I'll never be able to do it again. And I know there's gonna be a part of my life in which I'm not PRing anymore, I'm old or having kids or whatever it is. For the time being, when I go quickly, when things all line up, it feels amazing, but I'm also somewhat afraid that it'll never happen again. It's a really strange balance to be constantly afraid of all the time. I've been able to navigate that feeling by remembering that when I do go fast, when I do have a really effective workout or effective long run, it is led with some of the best feelings I've ever had. For the rest of the day, for the next week sometimes. PRing in your body feels incredible, and in your mind it feels incredible because you feel so proud of doing the right thing over and over again until the recipe eventually worked out. I just have to remember how much I have enjoyed that in the past, and that usually helps me feel a little bit better. The fourth fear of mine that I can think of, at least right now, is that I'm afraid of coming across egotistical from this. It's something I hate admitting. This one's not about speed, it's not about the actual progress itself. I hate the idea that people think I'm better than them. And there's nothing I'm doing that people aren't capable of doing, especially with this project that I've got going on. It's not something that only I can do. Sometimes I worry when I tell people about it or when they ask what I've been up to and I give them this as an honest answer. Part of me is afraid that people think I'm bragging about it or something. And so I keep it to myself. I don't tell anyone about this. I want to, and maybe I will, and maybe the reason that you're seeing this is because that time has already happened and I've been able to be transparent about it in a way that grows the channel a little bit. But the reason I've held myself back is because I don't want to come across that way. And I want you to either find it organically, and if you have, awesome. But I really wish I didn't think that way. I really wish I was just proud of it, and I really wish that I allowed myself to share it organically. And I don't know where this feeling really comes from. I think it comes from pride. I'd rather just be transparent about it and tell you how I'm feeling. The fifth fear that I can think of is I'm afraid of next week. I know I said last week that the peak week of phase 3 was something that I always thought that I would get to or stumble on and then quit. I always kind of had it in the back of my mind that like if I made it this far, it's already a success, which is great. What it's led to is that now I'm faced with the daunting truth of matching the most weekly mileage I ever have next week at 47 miles, and that only being the start of phase 4, and from there going up 5 and then 5 more miles after that. When I break it down on what amount of mileage I'm doing, it's not impossible. I know on Monday next week I'm going to be doing another 15K, and then I've got, I believe, another 4 mile or something like that the day after that. And when I think about it, those are achievable distances. I just did that last week anyway. And then I go to the long run, and the long run's going to be 20 miles. It's going to be from the base of this entire road all the way up to the reservoir, which I'm so excited for. But also, a part of me just says, why don't you go home? Just go to bed. Just don't do this anymore. Where does this feeling come from? I want to do this. I've already clearly done a good enough job to be proud of myself, so why not keep going and see how far I can go? I think I'm afraid because I do think that I'm gonna injure myself doing it. I think that it's already coming up and I haven't done enough of a good job to cross-train it, again, fully transparently. And I'm just kind of waiting for it to happen now. So maybe the right thing to do is to continue to dial it back and keep the mileage low until those feelings aren't the case anymore. But I really wanna be a person who can run 70 miles a week and have a life too. It sounds impossible, but that's kind of my goal with this, is to determine just how people do that. And some people I know who I'm inspired by are running over 100 miles a week and have a full-time job or go to school. I'm curious about how they get it done and how they get there, because I'm kind of tired of just hovering around the 20 mile a week period. That's a baseline. So yeah, I'm kind of afraid of that. And I just wanted you to know, I guess. This one's kind of a bummer. I feel like this one's not as fun as the other ones, but as I always say, let's see how it goes. Everything's gonna be fine, and there's no reason to be afraid. Just don't listen to that bitch voice. And don't give up. I really didn't want to do this, but we have to. I gotta do it anyway, and I'll thank myself later. I'm falling out of focus, yeah. 'Cause I get lost, holding on to it all, Cause I get lost, holding on to it all. Okay, week 2, Week 12 done, phase 3 done. And again, I didn't think I would make it this far, and I feel really good. Just did a half marathon, and I feel like that was short. And it was fun. It was not my fastest, but I did well. And it's been a while since I've run one of those. And I know it might be a while before I do again, but I feel amazing. I feel like I should keep going. And I actually kind of have to cross this. Also, I'm pleased to report that the whole IT band syndrome thing might be a thing of the past.
And I pick up my strides, or stride count, pick up my heels, and remembering to stretch and eat appropriately feels like it's the right way to do it. So maybe we're good. maybe we're gonna do phase 4. Maybe see you next week. We're gonna do it.